It's hard to do that.
All right, good morning. Love the energy. Yeah. Everybody sit in the front. It's where the cool people hang out. Oh man, that got quiet pretty quick. Love the energy. I appreciate everybody coming today. So First Fridays, it's the new year. Happy New Year. Can everybody stand up? Stand up. Yep. I know I made you all sit down. All right. So, not to put Brian on the spot. So Brian just started a new job and as a consultant in HR, but he was doing a little dance for me, and I want everybody to see it. So show us how it's done. So you guys aren't getting out of this. Let's everybody join Brian. All right. Let's Happy New Year dance. All right. Yeah. All right. Brian, thank you for being a sport.
You're welcome.
But jumping into the new year, right, is we always think it's a new beginning. But I know that all these leaders in here, you guys have all been working on yourself for probably a long time now. And this is just a continuation. But going into the new year, you got resolutions, you got different things. But the one thing I don't want you guys to miss is everybody in this room is a leader. And if you ever have doubts or you get on that New Year's resolution or you're on to the next steps and you're like, you know what, I'm just not doing that anymore. These people in here will back you up. They will support you. They will make sure that you are fully supported as a leader, and any motivation or anything you need, someone will look out for you. So take the opportunity to network, get to know the folks in this room, because we're all trying to be better versions of ourselves. So thank you guys for showing up today. And next, I want to get into our speaker. I've had the opportunity to get to know her a little bit, and the one thing I usually go through bios, but I'm not going to do that today, is she's very smart. Let's just start there. She's smart. She's a life coach. She's on the neuroscience side. She's also a fitness coach. So fitness, smart, all the stuff in a bio, right? All the fancy stuff. She's got a business. She does all the cool stuff. But what I really liked is I got to meet with her and sit down at coffee, and we talked for an hour. We talked about family, we talked about friends, and what I found is she had an amazing heart. Is she wants to help people. She wants to be engaged with people. She wants to help leaders get past some of those barriers in life that are just tough to get past. And she does that. She's been doing it for the last 10 years. But ultimately, I was talking to her, and you know what she did? I only met her one time, and then I got to go have coffee with her. Guess what she did? She actually drove all the way down to Indianapolis and rooted me on for a mini marathon. You believe that? It was true. And I seen her out of 2,000 people. She said, I was like, Jared! And then I was like, yes, she's here to support me. And then I found out that she had another friend doing it. But she was there. She was there. But at the end of the day, she's an amazing person. She has a big heart for taking care of people, getting them past the barriers, changing habits that are both mind, body, and health. So take advantage of our speaker. And Audrey, come on up here and get her done. You want to run for me like I was holding the door for you.
Is this on? Is it working? Okay, awesome. I pressed the button correctly.
Good morning. First, I want to say thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you to everyone who does First Fridays. Ooh, okay, I use that. That's okay. I'm smart. That's here. It says I got this. All right, we're going to go back. I want to say good morning. Thank you guys to everyone who does First Fridays. I appreciate it. I'm Audrey Andersen. I am a lover of all things health and wellness. I am mom to 4 teenagers, and I love chicken wings. So I'm not just like a rabbit eater of vegetables. I do love vegetables, but we're not going to even talk about any of that today. Today we're going to talk about why motivation isn't your problem and what actually changes your behavior. You can't power your way through it with willpower and motivation. So in the famous words of Warren G, regulators, mount up. We're going to put feet on the floor, we're going to close our eyes, and we're going to do a quick exercise here to regulate ourselves. So, feet on the floor, close your eyes, maybe shake out your shoulders a little bit. We're going to do a 4 count inhale through the nose. Hold it for 4. Exhale for 6 out the mouth. All right, come back to this moment. I also need to do that because behavior starts in the body. You guys are going to see me shaking. I might start speeding up. I get excited and it presents as anxiety. So these are good activities for you to do when you're in a stressful state, but I have even more for you. Quick truth or truth. How many of you guys set a New Year's resolution? Okay, I wouldn't do dare because I don't trust myself not to do whatever somebody dares me to do. So truth or truth, you set a New Year's resolution. Did you set one last year? Okay, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Raise hands. Okay, all right. How many of you, again, don't be shy, there's no shame. How many of you quit by February? 80% of people quit by February. 80%, that's a huge number that quit by February. So you didn't fail, you followed a pattern, okay? Your brain is programmed to follow a pattern. So when you quit by February, you don't fail, you just followed a pattern, and we have to fix that. So what is a habit actually? A habit is efficiency. So we all have our morning routines, right? You get up, you brush your teeth, go to the bathroom, wash your face, whatever it is. Your brain is going to automatically want to do things that are efficient and quick and easy. So we have to fix the pattern. We have to make things easy in order to change them. Our brain wants familiarity, safety. We like to think that we are so evolved, that we've come such a long way from the days of being a caveman, right? We haven't, guys. We really haven't. We are still in our reptilian brain sometimes, that amygdala, that fight, flight, or freeze. And we have to evolve. When we think about cavemen, when they would be out hunting, right, they're in their sympathetic nervous system. They are focused on the kill. They didn't come home from hunting, put everything down in the cave, and then go do a CrossFit workout. That's not what they did. It's okay to laugh. Sometimes I'm funny. So they would prioritize efficiency with their energy expenditure and all of that. We do not do that, do we? We get up early. How many of you guys got up and went to the gym or did something for yourself early this morning? Yep. Yeah, exactly. And then you come here and you do this, and then you're going to go work a full day, and then you're going to get off of work, and it's Friday night, and if you have teenagers, then you know that you have to take them to whatever sporting event is happening, and then you're not going to be in bed until 10 o'clock. And we expect this of ourselves all the time. Be in a good mood. Be the best mom. Be the best wife, husband, father. Do all of these things all the time. We have serious demands on ourselves. I want to talk a little bit about going from memory here. I want to talk a little bit about National Geographic. When we have watched, I'm sure we've all seen, a beautiful, the prairie in Africa, right? That they're grazing on, that's a prairie? Yeah, prairie, you have gazelle, and they're grazing, and they have their tails wagging, keeping the flies away. They're grazing, they're playing with their young, whatever it is. And then on the scene comes a predator. What do? Run. Yeah, they take off. Now, as they're running, do you see them grazing? Do you see them going number 2? No, they are running for their life, and then as soon as they get free, has anyone ever noticed what they do? The very first thing that they do. When they're in safety, they shake their entire body. And then they go right back to grazing. They're mammals. We are mammals. They are moving from their sympathetic nervous system back into their parasympathetic nervous system. How many times a day do you guys shake your whole body? How many times a day do you stop and do breath work? We are living in our sympathetic nervous system, and it's destroying our health. It's absolutely destroying us because we have cortisol that's just dumping into our gut. I call it bubble gut, the Bee Gees. I get anxiety. That's something that I struggle with. I love public speaking, but like Lily and I are friends, and I was standing back there, I'm like, I'm shaking. I get anxiety. I get bubble gut. I have an experience, right? Let me take a drink of water real quick. Everybody drink their coffee and their water. Our brains take the experience that we're having right now, and it translates it to an emotion, and that emotion then gives us a hormone release. It could be serotonin, it could be dopamine, it could be cortisol. Most of the time, it's cortisol. We live in the state of stress, and that cortisol then dumps down our vagus nerve, and that vagus nerve is the largest nerve in the body, and it runs from here all the way down your spine and ends in your rectum. So it touches every single organ in your body. I believe very, very strongly that most of our autoimmune diseases come from a chronic state of stress. And if we don't address stress, we're not going to get very far. So stress and patterns. Under stress, we don't rise to our goals. We fall back on patterns. Again, I want to stress that this is not weakness. You did not fail. This is how we have been programmed. Decision fatigue. How many of you are familiar with this? Decision fatigue. Okay, this is a real thing. I talk about this with every single client that I bring on because a lot of times they just are like, I can't help it. At the end of the night, I just binge, right? Can't help it. Decision fatigue was studied by Harvard Business Review in 2023. Your brain, an adult average, makes an average adult makes about 33 to 35,000 decisions per day. Per day. So it's not your fault you're freaking tired at the end of the night. Like, this is not your fault. You're tired, and I'll tell you, this is a real experience for me several times over throughout the years. Like I said, I have a bunch of kids. I would go home and I would start dinner, and maybe I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to go to the grocery store. I have mac and cheese. I don't want to eat mac and cheese. I know that mac and cheese is not ideal for me and my goals, but I start making mac and cheese for the kids, and I say, I'll get myself something and just go. Then a kid comes in and they have a homework question, or they're fighting with, always, Josiah and Avery. Oh my gosh. Josiah and Avery are always fighting. They're like an old married couple. And they're fighting about something or whatever it is. And I pour myself a glass of wine. I'm making them mac and cheese. I'm drinking some wine. And then there's something else, and then there's something else. And then, oh my gosh, Avery, I gotta get you to cheerleading. So I take her to cheerleading. Then I gotta pick her up from cheerleading. Then I have to fold laundry. And then before you know it, it's 9 o'clock and I have had a glass of wine. I know that that's not healthy. Anybody relate with this? And you're like, crap, I gotta eat something. So you go get the kettle corn. And then you eat a whole bag of kettle corn. It's not your fault. You're tired, you're exhausted. The ability to make decisions by the end of the day is so much lower than at the beginning of the day, which is why we have people who work out in the morning, right? Yeah. I get up, I work out at 5 a.m. every day. Not every day, I take Wednesdays off. But I get up and I work out at 5 a.m. because at the end of my workday, ain't no way I'm stepping in the gym. I don't want to be around people. I don't want to lift weights. I want to sit on my couch and I want to watch. Lately, it's been Beast Games. I don't know if you guys are watching those, but we like Beast Games. So this is why nights are the hardest for people. Your willpower is limited. Most habits aren't bad. They're protective. So I'm going to do an activity with you guys that I've never done in a large setting. okay? I've only ever done this one-on-one, and I'm not gonna lie, I can get emotional, okay? Because I really do care about people. Our habits are here to protect us. And I want you guys right now to think about a habit that you would like to change. What's one thing about yourself that you want to maybe change? Once everyone has that thought, just give me a nod. Okay? If this is just as simple as, I want to work out in the morning, let's give you a phrase that goes with that. What is a common phrase that you say to yourself? I call it, am I allowed to say damn? I call it the damn hamster wheel in our head. We have this replaying monologue sometimes in our head, right? So I want you to think of a phrase that goes with this habit that you want to change. Do we have that? Does that make sense? Sometimes they don't make sense. Good? Okay. Now, I want you to close your eyes again. Okay. We all have that phrase. Locate where in your brain that phrase is coming from. Is it in the center? Is it on the side? Wherever it is, imagine a claw machine picking that up and moving it in front of your face and putting it in a mask. Okay? Once you have this in a mask, give me a nod. Okay? I want you to now play with this. So if this voice is loud, I want you to make it quiet. If this voice is high-pitched, I want you to make it low. Now I want you to push that mask all the way up to the front of the room, to me. Now push it through the wall out to that pond that we have back there. And now turn that voice into Mickey Mouse. Make it ridiculous. Maybe it's Daffy Duck. And now bring it back. Put it right in front of your face again. And I want you to ask this voice, this mask, what are you trying to protect me from? What is the positive intent? Take your time here, give me a nod when you're done. Okay, you guys can come back to this present moment. How does that feel? Emotional, maybe? Sometimes that's what we need to ask ourselves is, what is the positive intent? Because you might be telling yourself you're lazy. That's not a positive thing to say, but what is it trying to protect you from? Why are you talking about yourself like that? Maybe it's trying to protect you from change, from pain. Maybe it's trying to keep you safe. When we get curious about our patterns, we allow ourselves the ability to change them at the source. If we don't get curious about our patterns, we are just trying to push our way through. So get curious with yourself. Awareness changes the relationship. The moment that you notice the pattern, you're no longer inside of it. So what I want you guys to do throughout your day is to regulate, calm yourself down, calm down your nervous system. Get curious with what it is that you are about to do. You know, maybe it's, I don't know, about to go get a snack. And you're like, I don't want to do that. What is it that I really want? What's the positive intent? Oh, I'm trying to avoid work that I don't want to do. So I think I need a snack. Right? I mean, this is relatable. I sit right next to cookies in my office, and oh my gosh, my coworker, she makes really good cookies, and she puts them right next to my desk, so I'm fighting this all the time. What do I need? I don't need a cookie. I just need to get up and walk. That's what I need. I need to move my body. Change happens at the response level. So willpower will fade, but systems stay. So create a system. Sorry, I'm moving right on again. What I want you to do is regulate, interrupt, reframe, redirect. That's what we did today. We regulated our nervous system by taking some breath. We got out of our sympathetic nervous system. We got back into our parasympathetic nervous system. And then we interrupted a thought process. And that is like, okay, I want to go get a snack. Nope, stop. What do I actually need? Reframe it. And then redirect, go for a walk. Something like that. Can you guys all think of one area in your life right now that you're like, I can totally do that? It doesn't have to be hard and complicated. One of my favorite things about my job is that I get to work with people that they think that they're just going to lose some weight. Little do they know, we're going to change their entire life. Because it's not just about your healthy habits. It's not just about creating systems and routines with working out and with eating well. That's my passion. I'm passionate about that. But you can do this in relationship. And so I want to also stress that, like, if maybe a New Year's resolution is to have better relationships, do this in relationship. Regulate yourself. Stop. Reframe. Redirect. When we can break a pattern for ourselves, we actually end up breaking the pattern for them too. Have you been in an argument with somebody and you're like, we've had this same argument for 10 years? Okay. Yeah, I have. Right? And you already know what's going to come out of their mouth the moment that you say what you're about to say. Yeah. Stop that pattern. Break it right there. It's called a pattern disruptor. And say something totally different. Move your body even. Okay? That would be regulating. So Tony Robbins teaches this. I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins. Giant man, if you guys have never seen him in real life. I think he could basketball palm my head up. Like, he's just huge. He teaches this, and his way of regulating is, you know, maybe your pattern with a interaction with someone is to go like this, you know? So take your hands and be like, move your hands. Put them in a different spot. That tells your body, I'm not going there. And then take a breath, reframe. Why do we keep having this argument over and over again? What is the positive intent? Because I promise you, whoever this person is loves you so much, and that's why they take the time to argue with you. What's the positive intent? You can use this all the time in every area of your life. So healthy people are not perfect, they are practiced. I will be the first to admit that I am not perfect. I told you I love chicken wings. I love chicken wings. But I am practiced on when I get to enjoy them and when I don't. So who I help? I help anyone who has a nervous system. I help people who want to change their patterns, reduce burnout, and build habits that stick. I do focus a lot on health. So I will help you with getting your 10,000 steps in, with making the commitment to working out, with eating foods that are actually going to fuel your body and make you feel good. But I also have worked with professional NFL athletes, just literally on like plays in the game, helping them regulate their nervous system because they're in a pattern of doing this when they don't need to be, whatever it is, you know. I also have worked with executives who are feeling that burnout with their role. They have way more decisions made every single day. You know, they're probably making close to 50,000 decisions a day. And I want you guys to take one more breath. So put your feet back on the floor. Close your eyes. And we're going to do this 2 times here. 4 count in through the nose. exhale for 6. One more time. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. The version of you who changes habits is not stricter. They're safer. And that's all I got. Any questions you guys have for me? Yes.
I heard a commentator on the radio this week talking about the conditioning of the military action in France. And he said that the rest of us would have high heartbeats and adrenaline and all these things. He said these people are so trained that they had a normal heart rate, normal breath, and that they did not get excited at all. It was just really puzzling. And now you're telling us about this today. Is this what they're applying?
Yeah, so 100%. They're trained to regulate their nervous system under these extreme conditions. There's actually, have you ever heard of box breathing? That is, yeah, and that's something that the Navy SEALs use. It's quick, I call it the quick and dirty method because I prefer the longer, more like Ayurvedic technique. But box breathing is 4 count in, 4 count hold, 4 count out, 4 count hold. And they are trained to, now I know that they don't always use their finger, but they are trained to use their finger because like I said, when we move our body, it signals to our brain we're doing something different. But yeah, that's exactly it. Yes.
Most of us is change. Right. You have a fear of change. And in my business, we have a fear piece system for companies. And some people will quit or retire rather than using the system. And what you just said was, what are you afraid of? What's supposed to be fear?
Yeah.
It seems to me that the fear of, oh gosh, I gotta learn the system. How is that the rationale? I'm gonna quit.
Because they don't
jeopardize my world entirely by quitting.
It could be a fear of failure. What if they don't learn it? What if they're afraid of failing and looking like a fool? You know, you got all these young people in there.
But you're right, 60, 80, 100, 200, 3,000 people.
Yeah, and some people really just hate change, and they really are afraid of what that could look like. And so they self-sabotage. I'll just quit instead of dealing with it, you know? If they would take the time and address the issue, I would be willing to guess that goes back to childhood. Most of the time, the thing that we don't want to do goes back to something that happened to us when we were a kid. So the rationale behind it doesn't make sense if you really sit down and you sit with it. You know, maybe they tried something one time and they weren't good at it and they got made fun of, and now they are just terrified of trying something new. I know that I struggle, and I will be transparent with you guys. That's another thing about me is you will learn me. I am very transparent. I am a chronic self-sabotager because I'm afraid of being really good. Isn't that crazy? I am afraid of being the best. I'm terrified of it. I don't want people looking at me. Yep, here I am. Right? I know. I've done 2 bikini competitions. I could have got first place in both, but instead, you would find me in the pantry eating peanut butter. Because I was so afraid. I would have a really good week. My coach would say something that was like so encouraging, so great, like, you've got this, oh my gosh, you're shaping up so perfectly. I couldn't handle it. So I'd go self-sabotage.
Yeah, but the alternative there is okay, it's equal. Whereas, okay, if I don't do this, I'm losing my wife, my kids, my husband, and I'm losing hobbies.
And sometimes they find that to be a better alternative. Sometimes they find the struggle and the pain more familiar than the safety. Because sometimes, and this is true, sometimes that feels safe to them. It's what they know. And we could talk epigenetics then too. You get into like poverty mindset, you know. You could get epigenetics, like what's passed down from generation to generation. I mean, it is so deep. Our DNA, our thought process, it runs so deep. Fun fact, you have your grandmother's trauma stored in your DNA. So not everything is actually your fault. Sometimes it's really, truly a fear of something that you didn't even have to deal with. There are stories of people who have had these like situations where they all of a sudden are freezing cold and they're shaking and they feel like alone. Well, they had a family member die in a cave, you know, camping and cold. It's very bizarre. I would encourage you to read the book. It didn't start with you, if you're interested in that kind of thing. Any other questions?
What's your favorite book?
My favorite book, oh my gosh, that's impossible.
Okay, that led you into health or personal development? Narrow it down to that.
Oh man.
Or speak.
Let's see. I would say, all right, I'll give you guys all an easy one. Everyone should read Atomic Habits by James Clear. Everyone should read that book. Yes, that's an excellent book. For me personally, what led me into more of the psychology of things was when I started learning about my Enneagram number, which I know like I have not touched on because that's not my topic, but when I read the book, The Road Back to You, and I discovered my personality type. I'm one of 6 kids. I'm a middle child. I'm a baby girl and a middle child, and I say, see, it's not my fault I'm this way. But when I learned about who I am and my personality and how I can be interpreted by other people and how I interpret them, it changed everything for me with my ability to relate to people, which made me a much, much, much better coach. The Road Back to You. That's by Ian Morgan Cron and Susan Steibel. I do have a list of books on my website, I think. I don't know if they're up to date. And I said email. I thought that Gmail. That's my website. Just realized that. But you guys can find me on Instagram too. All right, are we good? All right, thank you guys.
One more round of applause for this. Is there anyone that would like to share some of the takeaways or some of the things that you learned today? One of the things that we like to talk about is what did you learn and then meet someone new. So is there anyone that would like to share some takeaways or some things that you learned that maybe you did not know? I'll start. You was like, I don't know, you start. All right. Healthy people aren't perfect. Protect. That was something that resonated with me. I mean, there were so many things. Under stress, we rise to our goals, or we don't rise to our goals. Decision fatigue, and that 33 to 35,000 decisions a day. When you have grandkids, it raises. I have 5. But anyway, is there anyone that would like to share maybe some things that you learned today? Go ahead, Steve.
I really like the breathing techniques that the 4 counts and 6 counts and also the spirit. I thought that was really, really helpful. I can feel the release.
And you know, the interesting part about that is all of us know that we need to do it, but how often do we do it? You know, just take a moment because we're so caught up in our day and trying to get to the next thing that we have to get done that we don't take time to just. And I like what you said about regulating. Just be ready. You know, because again, we get so caught up in our day that we forget that we have to take care of ourselves as well. Yes?
It wouldn't be a bad idea to do it with our client at the beginning of the meeting possibly, to not only help them, but teach them and help myself.
Sure. Anyone in here suffer from anxiety? People are like, yes, stop talking. Yeah, thanks, don't call me. Yes.
I was gonna say the pattern interrupt. I mean, I think we all know that, but regulate, stop, take a minute and figure out not necessarily what I want to do, but what is the best outcome and how do I get there?
Sure.
Whatever the 4 steps were that all will go back to a go.
Regulate, interrupt.
And
And when you're in leadership,
Reframe, rebrand.
when you're in leadership, I mean, you have so many decisions that you have to make during the course of the day that you can't get there. So then those people or that group that you didn't get to, they feel slighted. So, anyone else? Sure.
I think we underestimate the importance of having the systems in place. I've been trying to eat better, and if I don't have proper snacks, if I don't have that system in place, it tanks immediately. So, making sure that you set up a situation that you could be successful, having the right tools, preparing, and having that proper system. So that's really, really important.
Yes.
I would have never realized that we make what 30 to 35,000 decisions. As a working parent, wife, and all that, truly by the end of the night, and so having that little stat in my head, I feel like I'll be able to offer myself some grace while also working to regulate and work to shift and change so that I figure out what I really need, not just eating.
Well, we're such creatures of habit. We don't even realize it's a decision. It's just something we do. We get up, we get moving, and whatever it is that starts our day, we do that we follow that routine. It's still a decision. You know, how many times do we step up and push the snooze bar? Say, I'm not going to get up there right now. Okay, I'm going to get up. Again, it's a decision. Yes.
I appreciate the fact that you bring up that it's not all your fault. I think we put ourselves in that real shame space of not accomplishing what we need to, and to recognize that this is a pattern, that your body's like a computer, it's like doing this, and you're not even aware. So I appreciate you bringing that.
Sometimes you work with people that don't mind shaming you.
They think they're helping.
They will definitely let you know when you didn't get it right. So, anyone else? Yes.
Just all of this has kind of translated, like, the fear of failure. That's great. Huge fear of failure and why we don't change. At least for me it is. But then it's also, giving yourself grace. And I've been trying to practice this, that I take a moment and I stop and I'm like, if my best friend was in the same situation, how would I react to them? So I give myself grace, because I think we're all harder on ourselves than we are on anybody else in our lives.
And so that's so tough. That's one of the toughest things is give yourself grace.
And the decision fatigue it's real in my household, because I have a mother with dementia that lives with me. And so not only am I making decisions for me and my family, I ask her, well, what are you hungry for? Whatever you give me. And I was like, so I took a step back and go, okay, let's just make dinner.
My favorite thing that you said was your fear of success, because so many people will push themselves to that point where they're almost there, and they like to live in this space where it's time for them to start over, it's time for them to recreate, because they don't have a fear of starting over. So that fact that you can also recognize that the fear of success is a big thing. A lot of leaders will step away right before they're at that spot. There's a lot of sports players that'll step away right before they're at that spot, because what if I don't? So I think that really resonated with me. That was awesome.
And I've never heard it put quite that way, fear of success, because we all want to be successful. So that was a great point. Anyone else? All right, well, we'd like to thank you for coming today. The next part is meet someone new. If you haven't had an opportunity to interact, you still have time here. Our speaker next month, Jared, will be
Very shocked.
Barry Schrock, February 6th, that first Friday of February. Look forward to seeing you. Bring a friend next time. And again, we appreciate your attendance today, and have a great weekend.